This video will look at how to set up freight structures. So firstly we go to Merchant and then eMetrics, and then from the freight structure drop down we click on Freight Structure List. From here we can see a list of any existing freight structures. We can click the green tick icon to edit them and the red cross to delete them. To create a new freight structure we click Create on the right hand side. So we often get questions about the difference between freight structures and freight rules. A freight structure will define the list of products within the system that should incur a freight charge, whereas the freight rules will determine what that freight charge will be. So the first thing we need to do is give the freight structure a title. By default it will be active. And then we have a couple of constraints here, so we can set a date range limit as well as a buy range. Once we're happy with the information we've added, we click Save to create the freight structure. So we'll see two new tables are added to the page. The first one is the product rules and the second one is the customer rules. So the product rules will define which of the products in the system should incur a freight charge, and the customer rules will define which customers in the system should also receive a freight charge for those products. Generally speaking, your freight structures don't need to be as complicated as your pricing and access structures may be. For the most part, you'll probably only have a single freight structure which defines a list of products and then a blanket customer rule which is open to all customers. So to create a new product rule for the freight structure, we click Add on the right hand side. Now these product rules can either define a list of products to include or to exclude from the freight structure. We can then break that down to be by specific suppliers, manufacturers, categories and individual products. If we leave everything blank as is and click Save, it will open it up for all products. To create a new customer rule, we click Add on the right hand side. So similar to the product rules, we can set up different rules which either define a list of customers to allow or to deny from the freight structure. We can then break that down based on the user's role, company, all the way down to an individual customer. If we leave all of these untouched, the customer rule will apply to all customers. So we can now see that this freight structure applies to all products and all customers. So assuming some freight rules have been set up, all customers will now be charged freight across all products.